The greatest things in life all start with a challenge.
You must accept that everything is hard before it gets easy.
Everything you want in life begins with a hard path.
Welcome to the Choose Hard podcast. I'm your host, Cody McBroom. I am a father, husband, entrepreneur, coach, and the founder of Tailored Coaching Method. Today's going to be an updates and insights episode. We are officially in February. As I'm recording this, it's early February. And wow, 2025 has been a hell of a year. And I think I've already said that on a recent episode, but truthfully, I feel like I haven't been able to share a lot of the insights, a lot of the struggles, the creations, the partnerships, the plans, like the lessons, insights, everything that I've gone through so far in such a short period of time. Because honestly, I haven't been on social media much. I've actually posted less on Instagram, on my story and my newsfeed. I've posted less on the podcast. I've recorded less on all platforms, video, everything. In a month's time, in a 30-day span, January 2025 had less of that than any month of all of 2024 or 2023. So I feel like I've stepped back. And for some people, you might look and be like, "Man, you're still creating a lot," but it's part of my job, right? So obviously, there's going to be a lot no matter what. But I haven't posted much because I've been so busy. And truthfully, we've grown so much as a company already in 2025. It's actually pretty crazy. Massive changes, massive struggles, massive triumphs, massive wins. We just did a huge, really, really good retreat, a trip into Vegas. We've done a lot, right? And there's also been some stuff personally. There's been some stuff with the business. I want to share some of these things because there's some important aspects behind the stories, the situations, and the different lessons and insights I've had so far that I really want to share. Because if you are a regular listener, I think it's important that you hear the real, raw, authentic version of me. You hear the insights and the life lessons and the struggles and the things I go through, because this is, the Choose Hard podcast is my personal brand. I think it's really important to share these things with the audience so that you get an insider's look and you can know as much as possible, because truthfully, our company and our coaches, as well as our members, are like family. And I want to treat all the audience members that way too. A lot of which are clients of us, Tailored Trainer app users, they're Tailored Coaching Method clients, inside the Tailored Coaching Collective where we host our workshops, and everybody else who just follows my content, right? And if you're not a regular listener, welcome. You're going to hear more of an update style podcast, but there's going to be some massive lessons that could provide breakthroughs for you as well, because if you hear somebody talking about something in their life and it created a massive shift for them and created a breakthrough and it taught them something valuable, it can absolutely teach you that valuable lesson too. Maybe you don't need to go through that thing right now, but if you put it in your back pocket and save it for when you do go through a similar thing, or when you go through something that you can apply their lesson and insight to, you're going to be, light years ahead of everybody else, because you are taking the lessons and insights from other people's successes and failures and applying it to your own. So that being said, we're going to dive in and go through some of the stuff. The first thing I want to mention is the Choose Hard website is finally finished, choose-hard.com. Head over there. There's going to be a bunch of different stuff. You're going to see an about me, so obviously a little bit more information about myself. There's also links to all the tangible items, the material items. So the Choose Hard hat, the daily journal from Tailored. We also have our training hats on there too. I would say our two most popular things right now are going to be the journal for sure, and then the Choose Hard hat. So go check those out, choose-hard.com. But also, if you ever want to catch up on the podcast, that's where to go. There's a link to each platform: Spotify, Apple. I'm on, iHeartRadio, Amazon, all these things. I don't know many people that use those. Somebody does because they're still around, but I don't link any of those, just Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, because those are the three most popular places people consume podcast content. So you can go to the website and just get a direct access to those three things. But I wanted to share this with you because it's a project I've been working on for a little bit, designing the website myself. Probably shouldn't be spending my time doing that, but I love those kind of things. And also I wanted to share because anytime there's updates, anytime there's downloadable aspects of the podcast, that's somewhere you can go. It's quick links to the show, but also when I do episodes that have slides and presentations or a workbook attached to it, and I want to give you those free resources, I'm going to put them on the website as well. So there will be more and more content getting added there and things you can download. So it's important for you to go check it out and just bookmark the website in general. The first main topic outside of just the website, which I am very proud of and I want you to check out, is Hyrox. I officially did Hyrox. So I'm going to recap Hyrox in this episode. And I can just say this, like so today is today's Thursday as I'm recording this. And that means I did Hyrox. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 or 5 days ago, I competed. Today is the first day I don't feel super sore. If I went into a deep squat, my glutes would still be a little bit sore, but I'll tell you what, I haven't been that sore in, oh my gosh, maybe almost a decade. Like it's sounds ridiculous, but like I literally was so sore from Hyrox. It is absolutely insane. I don't know why, it just crushed me. I did not perform. So this is the funny thing. I did better than I set out to, but I think I set a really low bar. So my goal with my half marathon was 2 hours or less because I Googled what's a good half marathon time, 2 hours, like for a newbie. And I was like, cool. I got 1 hour and 49 minutes, which is like an 8-minute per mile time the whole time. And so I was happy with my half marathon because I didn't stop and I got less than 2 hours. So I was like, you know what? That's all I want to do with this one. I want to get less than 2 hours. And because I was like, that's like the equivalent, it's, you run 6.8, I think, miles throughout it because you got 1,000-meter runs, which I will say at the Las Vegas Convention Center, it felt longer than 1,000 meters, the way they had it set up. And I had been training on an assault runner because I thought they were for assault runners. They were going to use those, which was one of my mistakes I'm going to touch on. But I figured that would be a good time, 6.8 miles plus, 1,000-meter ski, 1,000-meter row, 100-meter farmers, 100-meter burpee broad jump, all these different things. And I figured like that would be good. And I beat that. I got 1 hour and 37 minutes. Hour and 37 minutes and 40-some seconds. I would probably say if I was going to be nitpicky, I probably got like 1 hour and 35. Because I'm so dumb that I finished my wall balls and I walked over to the fence where my team was and I was like, I'm done. And they were like, you need to go to the finish line. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And I keep walking closer and closer to them, and I get to the fence, and Katie, one of our brand new coaches, shout out to Katie Johnson, she's in her internship right now, and she came out to Vegas with us, and she's like, you need to go across the finish line. Like, you got to walk through that to be done for the time to stop. And I was like, oh, no. And I, ran. So I'm an idiot for that. So I would say give me a couple minutes maybe. But hour and 37 minutes was better than the 2 hours I set for myself. However, watching others and seeing where I feel like I made mistakes, and I'm actually going to pull up on screen, if you're watching the video of this podcast, my breakdown of time of where I spent my time in each section. I definitely see where I could have improved, and I think I could have shaved at least 10 minutes off that. Nick on our team, the TCM team, Nick Love, he got 1 hour and 24 minutes, which was really good. And 2 of my clients, both females, so they were in different categories, they beat my time. And I told them they were going to. I told both of them, I was like, you guys have been more dialed in with your training that I've been programming for you than I am. So shout out to Stevie and shout out to Jacqueline. You guys both crushed it. Honestly, so this is like, my recap is this. 1, it was way harder than I thought it was going to be. So I will say that. I was humbled by Hyrox. I thought I was going to throw up a couple times. It's brutal. It is really, really intense. And I've even heard from other people who have done CrossFit at the highest level say the exact same thing. So it definitely sneaks up on you, and it pushes you. I can't say I would do it again. I don't know if I'll do it again. If you're listening to this podcast, the whole idea of choosing hard is to level up and choose hard in different ways. So if I did it again, I would know what to expect. And truthfully, like, the training for it isn't super exciting to me. You do the same 8 stations over and over and over again. Training specifically for it, you don't just do those 8 stations every day of the week. Obviously, that's not what a good program to build you up for Hyrox is. But nonetheless, it just doesn't excite me. It doesn't fire me up. I'm going to be shifting back into performance bodybuilding, which is one of my favorite ways to train. It is my most popular program in the app. 5-day split, upper, lower, push-pull legs. You can actually use the exact program I'm using, thetailoredtrainer.com. You can try it out for free even for a while. But nonetheless, I don't think I'm going to do it again. it definitely crushed me. It was definitely harder than I expected. And I think that some of the things that so one big aspect that led me to not performing as well as I could have is my training just went to crap the last like 4 to 5 weeks. And I know this would have made a big difference because I watched 2 of my clients there who really followed my training program to a T that I was writing for them. And it followed all the same principles and methods that I was using for myself because we're all training for the same event on the same day. And they crushed it. They did so good. And my program prepared me, but about 4 or 5 weeks ago, leading into this, life threw some curveballs at me, some of which I'm just not going to bring up on the podcast as they're personal, but it caused a lot of energy and a lot of mental energy to be drained, emotional energy to be drained, and a lot of my time to be committed to other people and helping certain situations that I was called to help with, which is great, and I'm fine doing because that's my role. However, it did pull me away from my training. Like I was not able to train as often as I needed to. I wasn't able to hit all of my mock Hyrox sessions to prepare me in those final weeks, and I think that really threw me off. The second thing is that we were in Vegas, so it was drier and hotter than it was in Washington, what I'm used to. And the whole day before, we spent doing a scavenger hunt, which was dope, and it was a lot of fun with the team. And we're walking around Vegas. I didn't carry around a water jug. So normally I have a gallon of water a day, but because we were moving around, I was walking around Vegas doing that. I was so dehydrated, and I was in the second heat of the day. So it started at 7. It started at 7:30, and then I was at 7:40, and they were releasing another group, which was wild. Every 10 minutes, a group of 20, 30 people, the horn goes, and they just run out of this tunnel. And it's like in the middle of everybody already competing. There's just all these people flying out of this tunnel. It's absolutely insane. The energy in there was crazy. The chaos was so insane, but so well controlled. I got to give Hyrox so much credit because, one, they're crushing it. There was 10,000 athletes that weekend that competed. Nuts. Spectators coming. There was super dope sponsors. Everything was set up and managed flawlessly. There wasn't any issues. There wasn't any confusion. And to do such a big event like that, which I believe the announcer said that they've officially crossed the line of now being the largest fitness competition in the country, which is crazy, in the United States. So maybe in the world, because I would imagine the United States probably has the biggest ones. But nonetheless, it was absolutely crazy, really cool. But anyway, going through all the stations and doing everything, I was so dehydrated that I ended up cramping really, really bad. So, I could feel it kind of creeping up on me, and I was trying to drink water and hydration at the station that they had. But by the time I got to, I can look at it right here, it was the 5th run. I went from being around, so my first run was 4 minutes, 55 seconds. Second run was 4 minutes, and this is for 1,000 meters. And so that's 0.6 miles, so just over a half mile. And I already planned this beforehand. I was like, if I stay between 4:45 and 5:15, I can make a really good time. And that's a good aerobic pace for me for that distance. And I was doing that, 4:55, 4:45, 5:25. And then all of a sudden, 8 minutes and 51 seconds, and then 7 minutes and 16 seconds. And then I kind of got over it, and I went back down to 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So there was 2 points, and the first one was right after the burpee broad jumps, and it was just, I was so dehydrated from not drinking enough water the day before and then starting first thing in the morning, so really only getting a minimal amount of water before I actually started, because I had a couple water balls, but normally I'm drinking water all day, and I just did not do that Friday. I did not prepare my hydration well. I have never cramped so bad in my quads, my calves, and my adductors. So for those listening who don't know anatomy very well, the adductors are the muscles on the inner thigh. And the only way you can really stretch that muscle, do that muscle justice, is to get into a frog position on the floor and basically look like you're humping the floor. Like you kind of gotta hump the floor. There's really no other way around it. And I'm running on a track with a bunch of dudes, a bunch of jacked male athletes running around this track. And here I am, my adductors cramping. I'm like rubbing my inner thigh, trying to find a position. I didn't want to lay on the ground and hump the floor. Like, it was terrible. And so I really just had to walk and like dig my fingers into it and stretch my calf and quad as I was walking and try to stretch my adductor. Like literally, I just had to sacrifice that 1,000 meters with just like off and on walking and jogging and stretching. And then I went to the hydration station, and literally drank like 4 waters and 4 Gatorade things. They had these little Dixie cups, crushed those, and then it started going away. And then by the time I got to like the 6th or 7th station, I was fine. But that was the biggest mistake I made, was that. Burpee broad jumps, I actually did pretty well. I did them in 4 minutes and 56 seconds, which was better than my sled pull time, better than my rowing time, which rowing for me was like a break. I got to just like actually breathe. And it was right after the burpee broad jump. So my heart rate was so high from the burpee broad jumps. I was trying to salvage my soul because the burpee broad jumps literally took my soul away. That's the only way I can describe it. It was miserable. I hated it. It was so bad. 100 meters of those just sucks. But I didn't do bad. 4 minutes, 56 seconds. And then rowing, it was like my break because I'm pretty good at rowing. I do it a lot. So 5 minutes, 28 seconds, just trying to catch my breath. The farmer's walks, I crushed. There was a lot of guys setting the bells down. I did it unbroken, 100 meters, grabbed the bells, walked. I was weaving through people. I've been training farmer's walks with way heavier bells for a really long time, but specifically in the weeks leading into this, I was doing them with weights that were 20 pounds heavier on each hand. So I crushed that. And then the wall balls, I finished in 5 minutes and 8 seconds. I did those really, really well. I did 5 sets. So I did 25 reps, 25 reps, 20 reps, 20 reps, 10 reps. Or maybe it was 25, 25, 20, 15, 15, I think. And with really short breaks in between. I mean, I feel like I flew through those. The dude that was watching me, that was like my person there, was just like a hype man, just egging me on, cheering me on. It was really cool. So overall, I think if I would have just shaved down, I spent 13 minutes in the rock zone, which I should have been more close to probably 10, but half of that was me trying to get hydration after cramping up. That 8:50, so basically 9-minute run, and that 7-minute run, that's what really shot me in the foot. All the stations I did really well. So I would do it differently next time if I was going to, but I don't think there will be a next time. I'm working on figuring out what my next challenge is. But I will say this, if you are going to do Hyrox and you're prepping for it, just know that it's probably going to be more difficult than you realize. All right, next we got partnerships. I've been forming a lot of relationships with individuals over the last several months, and I'm really, really excited to officially announce some of these partnerships. Some of them I've been working on for quite a while. Honestly, all of them actually started kind of developing. I have 3 main ones I'm going to talk about. They started developing last year around Thanksgiving. And it's been just honestly chaos on my part for me to be able to announce anything and get out the content and have a good time, where we had so much pre-written and scripted and thought through and recorded even podcasts and YouTube videos and stuff. I never really had an opportunity to insert some of these partnerships, but I'm excited to announce these. I'm really proud of them, and I'm excited for what they're going to become. So partnerships, the first one is really cool, and it's Jocko Fuel. I'm really excited about this. As you can see right here, I have a Jocko Go energy drink can. So that's one of their really popular products. This is Jocko Go, which is their energy. They have Ready to Go. Ready to Go is like one of their main things, RTG, and that's like bottled. So energy drinks, they have their protein shakes in bottles, pre-made, which I love. Then their hydration drinks, which I love, my daughter loves, my wife loves. So those are 3 of their really good products. But what is really, really cool about the relationship that I've been developing with Jocko Fuel over the last, 4 months now, is that they reached out to me based on the educational content I provide. And they wanted to do something with me in the future, and we haven't had a chance to meet in person, not literally me and Jocko, but the Jocko content team. But we've kind of created some plans to get together, shoot content, and it stood out a lot to me because their desire to target somebody like myself simply from the lens of we want people to be properly educated on nutrition, supplements, training, all of the above, says a lot, because most supplement companies are solely after finding people who are going to be good influencers, who have 1 million followers. And I mean, Jocko is famous. He can easily find the right people. I mean, Jocko's partner in this, who is a co-owner of the company, is Chris Pratt. Both of those guys have a big enough audience to find some influencers to represent their company. And they do. They have influencers and everything. But it was really cool that they were like, no, we want real people who provide real coaching and real results and have real knowledge and experience to provide real education to the people who follow us. That stood out a lot to me, and I was really excited about them reaching out. I'm really excited to create content with them and for them going forward in the future. And I have been, I've only really been affiliated with one supplement company as a close relationship. And it was over, like 2 years ago now. And, I've had affiliate links. So if you're a client listening to this and you've been like, man, you've sent me different links over the years. Of course, I've been affiliate, and anybody can be an affiliate. You can go get an affiliate link for any supplement company because they'll give them out to anybody. You get a code and then you start sharing it to people and the people can use it. They get a discount, you get a discount. It's just an easy way for them to market. It's really smart and get their links out there through you and your audience. And I've had different supplement companies I've recommended because there are plenty of good supplement companies. But there's only been one other company, and it was a couple years ago that I worked with, and I actually ended up deciding to leave that company because there wasn't enough in it for my audience and my members. There was no coupon, like discount codes or anything like that. And so I'm excited about this partnership with them. We are creating a coupon code, a discount code for the listeners for everything. You can check the description of this podcast. You can also follow me at Cody McBroom on Instagram, and it'll be in my menu of in my link tree menu. I'm always going to be able to promote that on Instagram and stuff. And for the members listening to this, we'll have a bigger and a special discount code for you because you are a client of ours. But I'm really excited about this. Jocko is somebody who I have listened to, I have looked up to, I have used as like a mentor or a role model from afar for years and years and years. And part of my core value system and part of what we call the purpose blueprint and what I have created for my company as guidelines and values and principles for us to follow as a way to represent ourselves with the highest standards and expectations was literally birthed from his book, Extreme Ownership. So it's one of my favorite books. I have a copy of it sitting on my desk. I've gifted it countless times. And the fact that his company reached out to me to talk about a potential partnership literally meant the world. I was extremely excited about it. And I grabbed the opportunity as quickly as I could. And I've met with them numerous times and I'm, through Zoom meetings and stuff. And we've made everything official and got everything in order. And I couldn't be more excited to be a part of a company that represents so much. I mean, Jocko is the representation of discipline. And so the fact that I get to represent that company and be a beacon of light for people, directly with them, man, really, really cool. I'm beyond excited. I can't say enough. It's literally humbling. It's an honor. And again, it's not just I'm an affiliate. Here's an affiliate link. I am a sponsored athlete of Jocko Fuel, and I get to represent them and be a part of their athlete team. And that means a lot. It means a lot to me. And I've turned down multiple people, and that's not to impress you, but to impress upon you. Like I've had, companies that are the same size. I've had plenty of companies that are smaller than that reach out, and I've said no hundreds of times to different people, supplements, nutrition, apps, different kinds of things, clothing, because I don't want to represent a company that I don't fully believe in, buy into, and use. Luckily, I have been bought into them. I have been using their products now for the last 4 or 5 months before even announcing this to have a proof of concept, and their slogan I want to share because it's so synonymous with Choose Hard and what I believe in and what Tailored Coaching Method is about. And their slogan is really simple: hard work, clean fuel, and no excuses. Hard work, clean fuel, no excuses. That is literally what we do. Tailored Coaching Method and this podcast is about working hard, not making any excuses, and fueling your body the right way so that you can transform your physique and, of course, your mind. So it's really cool that they have such a synonymous slogan with us too, especially, ours is Choose Hard, and they have like the DEF, Discipline Equals Freedom Reset Challenge, and their whole thing is so similar to us. Anyway, I am unbelievably excited about this. And another cool thing about them too, there's a lot going on with RFK popping out and pushing all this stuff, and like some of these new things have been banned. So there's been a ban on this red dye ingredient. And the cool thing about, and just if you're listening to this, if you're drinking a product that has red dye in it, you're not going to die. You're not going to combust and explode with these artificial ingredients. You're not going to have diarrhea. You're not going to vomit everywhere. It's not good for you though. It's not good for you. There's a lot of artificial ingredients that I think there's this fear mongering around. And the problem is that a little bit's probably not going to hurt 90% of people. However, there are some people that have autoimmune issues. They have certain diseases. They have illnesses. They have hormonal issues. They have all kinds of stuff. Or a very, very rare and specific thing that they are dealing with that could very well potentially be have issues with that ingredient, that red dye ingredient. Now, the other thing too is that if you don't need it, why have it, right? So a lot of times these ingredients are used because they're cheap, they're easy to source, they're artificial so they can be made. But if we don't know if it's good for you, like my opinion is this: if we know it's bad for you, let's cut it out. If we think it could be bad for you, we might as well cut it out. And if it's neutral, like it's more likely to hurt you, but we don't know for sure because evidence doesn't fully support it, what's the point? So in my opinion, let's cut out anything we don't need or at least limit it as much as possible. But that means there's a lot of companies that you're going to see a lot of companies with this red dye in it that are going to have to go back and reformulate their product, whether we're talking about pre-workout or whey protein or energy drinks. Energy drinks is probably going to be the biggest one. You're going to see a lot of these companies have to basically toss things off the shelf. You're going to see a lot of energy drinks in stores going on clearance for a while, and they're going to have to reformulate. And my fear for them is that their product might taste weird or different and people aren't going to like them, And at the end of the day, the coolest part about this whole thing is, one, if we're moving in the direction as a country to slowly but surely eliminate things that we know are either A, bad for us, or B, we don't have enough evidence to support that they're totally safe and harmless, then we should be pulling things off the shelves and either A, eliminating them completely, making them ban like this, or we should just be testing them. If we're unsure, bring it back to the lab. Let's test it a little bit longer, and then let's bring it back if it pans out okay. But the cool thing about Jocko is that none of their stuff has it. That's the whole idea. Hard work, clean fuel, no excuses. So clean fuel means their ingredients are really clean and you can trust it. And the best part about that is there is not a single product that they have that has these this red dye or any of these ingredients that are going to slowly but surely get banned in it. And so nothing is changing. It makes things a lot easier for them, and it makes things a lot easier for me because my partnership agreement honestly already happened before all this stuff started coming out. And it's nice that I can talk about, hey, guess what? You don't got to worry about that with them. So really, really excited about this. Myself, Cody McBroom, is officially a sponsored athlete with Jocko Fuel, and I haven't been a sponsored athlete of any supplement company in over a couple years, and even then I wasn't like officially on the sponsored athlete team. So it means a lot to me. It's kind of a cool sense of like reward, but also just so honoring because of who Jocko is as a person. So I'm really excited about this. It's going to be really cool, and I'm excited to share a lot of content with them and you guys in the future. Now, second partnership is LeanFeast. And so this is local. So if you're local, so I'll keep these next two short because these are local, but one of my visions for Tailored Coaching Method as a headquarters, as a facility in a building, was to create some kind of health center. It was to create this place that people could go and get whatever it is they need in order to start embarking down their health and personal development journey. And so the problem up until now has been that it's just Tailored Coaching Method, and we don't do in-person training. So although we host events, which I have an event coming up in, we'll link it in the description of this podcast. So if there's any spots available, because I think there's only like 5 or 6 spots left. It's called the Training Camp, and it's where I'm diving deep and teaching all things program design. So if you're a trainer or an advanced trainee that wants to learn everything about training and you want to basically steal my methods, steal my program design templates and blueprints, you're going to want to be there. But outside of those events, which I usually do like once a year, we're going to be hosting some cool like members parties for the people who are in Washington here in the summer. Outside of those two things, this is an online company, right? We haven't really wanted to do anything in person outside of just host events and stuff, but I wanted to be able to impact the community. And I've been doing a lot of things, some of which I can't really talk about, but I've been doing a lot of things and planting a lot of seeds to really influence my community and try to, my, may sound semi-egotistical, my goal of everybody in this state knowing who Tailored Coaching Method is. I want Washington State to know that we are, and this is a fact, we are the leading weight loss coaching company in the entire state. Without a doubt, we are definitely the largest weight loss company in the state. And I want that to be really well known. Well, I need to bring things in here. I need to bring people in here. I need to get people seeing what we do and how we do it and engaging with us. And part of that was I need to bring other companies in here that can serve those people in person. And one of those is LeanFeast, and that is a meal prep company. They actually have multiple restaurants in the military base here in Washington, JBLM, where they actually have like a protein out style kitchen, but they branched out and started building out a meal prep service. So if you're local in Washington around me, this Pierce County area, Pierce County or King County going into Enumclaw and stuff like that, definitely check it out. I'll link this all in the description of the podcast as well. You can email me as well. You can go to the website. I'll put all that in the description. But LeanFeast is, we have a meal prep fridge in our front foyer now. So when you walk in the door, just like boom, you see like a big commercial fridge, and you can come pick up your meals, which is really cool because obviously it brings people in here. I get to meet people, and I get some guys that I love and appreciate who are really close to me, that they come in, they work out with me. We go to church together. Like, I trust them. I believe in them. I believe in their product. I love their product because it tastes really good. Me and my wife have been eating their meals, and it's a really, really good partnership. So LeanFeast is the meal prep service and company for us locally, and we host their fridge now. We have that here. And then the second partnership is Elevate Massage Therapy with Amanda Duncan, and she actually is a massage therapist I brought in to work in-house. So we transformed the front office into a massage therapy room. Shout out to my wife, Shannon. And if you are into this kind of thing, go follow her on Instagram at Shannon McBroom. Shannon with an E, SHANNEN, McBroom. I'll link it in the description of this podcast too. Whole bunch of links in this one. But she does DIY. She has completely transformed our house. And so she transformed that front office for me and turned it into like an oasis for a massage therapy room. And Amanda is extremely experienced with years and years and years of experience working on athletes and everyday people. And I wanted that to be in here as well so that people could come here and at least get the recovery aspect that they need. And we're able to sit down and talk nutrition and stuff. They don't always train here, obviously, but if we can have that manual recovery therapy in here, that is huge. So again, I'll link that in the description as well. If you're local, she's the gal to go to. You can come to the Tailored Coaching Method headquarters and get your massage work done, which is cool. I'm just pumped because now we have all these aspects to the building. That was my goal, is to make this really like a hub for health. Now, I have some lessons to finish this podcast with that I think are going to be really valuable. And what I want to do is really just kind of comb through these, because I think that if I can keep it somewhat brief, I think it'll just really, I want you to take what I'm about to say and just go to your journal, write it down, and just really think on these things. But these are lessons from 2024 to 2025. And I might do a full podcast on this because I have like 10 or so that I wrote down, but there was just a few that I think are really relative right now that I wanted to bring up into this podcast. And they kind of relate to some of the things I've already talked about with Hyrox and with these partnerships and stuff. But I just think it's so important. Like, number one, like, it's just so important to have the understanding as an individual that you need to reflect. You need to reflect on time passing. You need to look at 2024 and figure out every single aspect of it that you didn't like and you don't want to experience again. You need to look at every aspect that you could have done differently. You need to find every lesson that you should have learned earlier. You need to find every win and victory and then look at how you achieved that win or got that victory so that you can repeat it and use it like a template for the future. And this is really, really important. I think if you don't spend time reflecting, I think you're shooting yourself in the foot and you're way less likely to be successful in anything you do. So the first lesson is, don't just be patient, but stay busy, because patience is an active and a watched pot doesn't boil, right? So a really old saying, if you ever heard this, a watched pot doesn't boil. What that means is if you turn on the stove and you're waiting for your pot of water to boil and you're just staring at it ain't going to make it boil faster. That's the whole point. A watched pot doesn't boil. Well, I wanted to use that and tell you that patience isn't active, because patience is just sitting and waiting. And this is the problem with most people. Most people struggle with being patient enough for their process to unfold. They struggle with the patience required to fully see through a mission, a objective, whatever it may be, right? And I struggle with this too. I've always been a very impatient person. As time went on, I found myself becoming more and more patient, it seemed. I wasn't becoming more patient. I was staying busy. And so what this means is that if you need to be patient for your goal, which you do, everybody does, there's no goal that won't require patience. Any vision you're trying to create, any mission you're trying to accomplish, any goal you're trying to achieve, it will require patience, plain and simple. But if you don't get, let's say, boots on the ground while you wait, you will lack the patience. If you stay busy, you will not lack the patience. Why is that? Because patience isn't active. Meaning, when you are staying active, pursuing other things, accomplishing other goals, doing whatever you need to do, you're not going to be sitting there staring at the pot waiting for it to boil. And so this is something that became really profound for me because I heard somebody say this: patience isn't active. So don't just be patient, but just stay busy. And what that means is I'm going to start this process. I'm going to embark on this journey. And while I'm waiting for this to build, because there's all these little things in the midterm, right, from where I'm at to where I want to be, that need to accumulate, that need to stack, that need to snowball. It's a domino effect, right? I'm going to let those things happen while I bring my focus to something else. I can do these habits and fulfill these steps and do whatever it is, but if it takes me a year to accomplish this thing, it takes me a year. So only focusing on that thing, keeping my vision only on that thing, is going to make me feel very impatient and frustrated because all I can think about is how far I still have to go. 365 days, then 364, and then 363. But if I'm doing these other things, I'm setting mini targets, I'm achieving little things, I'm engaging in other projects and relationships and in communities and whatever it may be, challenges just like I am, physique show, half marathon, Hyrox, I don't know what's next. Well, I'm doing a lot. I'm staying active. I'm consistently pursuing the pursuit of achieving. I'm literally in the process of getting better while I'm still slowly but surely, going down this path and accomplishing this other thing too. I'm just not staring down that finish line the whole time, which creates that feeling of impatience. So don't just be patient, stay busy. Set your goal. If it's a fat loss goal, set your goal, know your goal, start working on those small, simple habits that you know you need to do that accumulate over time, and then start looking at other things that you can get better at. You're working on fat loss and you're doing the small, simple things that really can move mountains after 6 months, but aren't going to move mountains after a couple days. And in the meantime, while you're doing those things and you're not so focused on the scale weight, you're learning how to show more appreciation to your partner, to your husband or wife. You're leaving notes. You're reading a book on personal development. You're reconnecting with your faith. You're doing something to work on yourself that has instant return of investment. Because the moment I invest in this, I write my wife a note and leave it to her, I instantly feel better, and then she instantly feels appreciated. I'm developing while this long-term thing that I need to be patient for is developing, okay? Second thing, resilience and endurance. This is just unbelievably important. I just did a full workshop on this for the members of the Tailored Coaching Collective, and it was all about resilience. So the science behind resilience and how to be more resilient in 2025. And to define these two things, resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, adapt to new challenges, and keep pursuing goals despite setbacks. A lot of times people think of resilience as like you're resilient, right? And you're resisting. And so they think of perseverance, which perseverance is like I'm walking forward and I'm just getting like knocked in the face and hit and shot at, and I'm just going to keep trucking and moving forward because I know where I'm going. Whereas resilience is the ability to, I know where I'm going, I'm walking, I get knocked on my ass, and then I bounce back up as quickly as possible and start moving in that same direction again. That's resilience. It's the ability to bounce back, right? Because the root word of resilience comes from the Latin word that means coil, like a spring, to literally bounce back like a strong spring, okay? And then endure, and this is a brutal definition, but I love it. Suffer something painful patiently, remain in existence, and last. That is the definition of endure. So if we combine resilience and endurance, we have this ability to suffer pain patiently and remain in existence and last the whole way there. And if we combine that with resilience, we know that we have this ability to bounce back. God forbid something that hits us is too painful to handle, or it doesn't allow us to last or stand strong or keep stable. Endure is the ability to stay stable and keep moving forward, and resilience is the ability to bounce back when we fall, even though we were trying so hard to stay stable. Put those two together and you have the recipe for success. Every single goal you want in life is going to boil down to those two things, I guarantee you. And I've realized that so much. The year of 2024, I showed more endurance and resilience in my personal life, my emotional life, my business, professional life than ever before. And man, like already in 2025, the blessings have been coming, and it's just been growing, and we are moving in the right direction. And we are like, I can say this honestly, like as a team, we are so happy. As a family, we are so happy. As the owner of a company, my vision is strong, and it's because of this. You know, you're going to go through tests. You're going to go through struggles and setbacks. You're going to go through painful things. You're going to go through failures, but you have to see those as training situations for the future success that you are after. The setbacks in your life, the struggles that you face, the failures you have, those are literally tests and training for the future success that you desire and you deserve. Do not forget that. You need to have resilience and endurance. And the question you can ask yourself to make sure that you have this resilience and endurance is it worth it? Because when you get to that moment where you're questioning your ability to continue, you just have to ask yourself, is it worth it? And if you can't answer this question with a yes, what that means is that you either A, are really just embarking down a path for a goal that you don't care about. And this can be very freeing. Nobody wants to admit that quitting is a good thing, but in situations like this, it can be absolutely fine to quit. Because if you ask yourself, is it worth it? And the answer is no. I'm enduring this pain or suffering or struggle and failures, and I'm really struggling here to accomplish this goal. And you go, is it worth it to continue and to potentially keep failing for a while before I succeed? And if the answer is no, you have to look deeply and go, why isn't it? And it might be because you're not really attached to the goal. You don't really care about accomplishing it that much. Or you haven't dug deep enough to understand why you care about that goal so much. And if you did understand why you care about that goal so much, it would be very, very well worth it to continue going through that struggle and the suffering in order to accomplish that goal, because you understand the purpose behind it. And that's the next point here. You need to have faith that the payoff will have undeniable indirect benefits for you. So an example would be, becoming this way will help me blank, right? The definition of faith from a non-religious context is it's blind trust. So it's trust without needing to see something, right? You can't see God, but if you have faith in God, then you trust God, right? Well, having faith in something is knowing that it will work out without seeing it work out. And so until you have faith in the outcome you're chasing, you're not going to reach it. You have to have faith in the result that you're going after. And you have to have faith in yourself to achieve it. You have to have faith in the fact that you might fail 100 more times before you get there, but that's okay, because that's just part of the process, right? And part of developing that faith is having this trust in the payoff, and that it will have undeniable, so there's no questions asked, but undeniable indirect benefits for you. Meaning, if I accomplish this fat loss goal, I will have developed self-control and self-discipline, which will make me a better parent in these situations. And my child will have a role model that later in life will become a certain way and accomplish certain things and raise a certain family because of the self-control and the self-discipline I showed in front of them at a young age. And yes, that comes from you losing 20 pounds. That is the undeniable indirect benefit for the goal of losing weight that you have. And when you understand this and you can see your goal right now, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, build muscle, achieve Hyrox, whatever it is, when you can see your right now goal and you can connect the dots to the future you, the future son or daughter you have, to your future success in your business, to whatever it is, that is how you get so attached to the goal that you have resilience and endurance, because whatever comes your way, you're going to withstand it. And if you can't withstand it physically, you're going to bounce right back with resilience. Huge lessons for me on those things. And to kind of bring this full circle, this is, directly links to the partnerships I've created. It shined a lot at the Hyrox event because, I had my whole team there. We had members show up there that weren't competing. We had members who showed up there to compete. We had, our members' significant others with them. It was really cool. It was a really, really special time, and it was a really special moment to spend time with my team, just connecting, honestly. And it was really powerful. And this last lesson is find a tribe. My tribe is Tailored Coaching Method. They're my people. But also, I have very, very close relationships that I've developed with people who are out of the state. Some of my friends in Texas that I've connected with over the last year, 2 years, they're like brothers to me. And we go out of our way to connect on a regular basis. And that's why I consider them in my tribe. One of my best friends of all time, Cody Smith, he lives an hour and a half away from me. We get on the phone every single week. Why? Because we go out of our way to invest in that relationship, because we want each other to be a part of that tribe. There's guys at my church that I spend time with on a weekly basis, training in the gym, going to church together, doing those things. Why? Because I want them in my tribe. So you need to find people. Finding a tribe, having community, being around people encourages empathy, effective communication, and conflict resolution, strengthening social bonds. This is directly from research on developing resilience. They did studies on resilience, and they find that people who have close relationships and go through hardship with those people, and B, have strong social connections with those people, they are more resilient. They're more likely to bounce back after failure or setbacks, and they're more likely to endure struggle in the pursuit of success, which is crazy. And I'll read this exactly. Going through hardship with people builds stronger ties, and strong social connections were shown to buffer the impact of stress, reducing cortisol levels and promoting better coping mechanisms. So literally, people who have strong relationships in their lives that have meaning behind it, meaning we're not just both into lifting weights, we both have the same values, we both have the same disciplines, we both have the same life goals, we both have the same ambitions to be successful. Those kind of deep connections, they are more likely to buffer the impacts of stress, meaning when stress hits us, it's not going to impact us as much. They actually see a reduction in overall cortisol levels, the stress hormone, which is crazy. Your hormones change when you have better relationships, and you are able to develop better coping mechanisms, which means I am able to adapt to stressful situations better because I have strong relationships in my life. And the only thing I can kind of conclude that to is find a tribe. If you don't have a tribe, you need to have a tribe. It's really, really important. You want to join our tribe, head to tailoredcoachingmethod.com. We'd love to have you. We do as much as we can with our members, with our clients, and that's only going to continue. And we're doing stuff here in person with these partnerships. I'm really excited about a lot of things happening in 2025. Like I said at the beginning, I haven't done as much content as I normally do, but it's because we have so much going on, and it's so much positive things, so many positive things. And I'm really excited to continue building these, continue impacting people, continue sharing what we're doing, and we're changing so many lives, and it's only going to continue. I'm on a mission, and I hope if you don't have a vision for your life and you're not on a mission to accomplish that vision, I hope you create a vision for yourself. I hope you listening to this, you get the updates, but you hear the insights, and you look at the updates I gave you, and you realize that if you create a vision, it doesn't matter how long it takes. You can be patient if you stay active, and you can get to the goal if you endure and you make sure you have resilience and you have a strong tribe around you. I appreciate you listening to the podcast. I'll catch you next time.